Has the nature of our politics changed and Raila Odinga has not evolved at the same pace?
I think what I would say is not a direction that we should go, but we insist on it, is the culture of cannibalizing institutions every time they do not agree with us. And my sister Angel is quickly learning those ropes, that when the ORPP does not agree with you, now ORPP is the problem. Because you cannot cannibalize an institution for your own misgivings. The NDC that Angel talks about does not even recognize her as the Youth League chair to start with. And maybe her ascension to that position, according to that illegitimate stuff, is courtesy of lobbying again, as my brother Kuria puts it. You can't criminalize.
We can be fair and call her the People's Youth League chair.
The People's Youth League chair. Because when you look at it, Olive, this is an institution, the ORPP. It is not its doing that you have an NDC that doesn't have a quorum. It is not the doing of the ORPP that you are calling your NDC resolutions in the presence of strangers. You had Raila Odinga, Wajakoya, who are not members of Jubilee, in the presence of your calling for resolutions. You do not blame the ORPP for that. You don't blame the ORPP for you having an NDC that is being spearheaded by a purported Secretary General who is in court on the day of that NDC, trying to get legitimacy for their own position, first of all, of membership of the party, and two, of being even Secretary General. You don't blame the ORPP for that. You don't blame the ORPP when they have already advised you and said you have filed your returns courtesy of a purported NEC meeting. And the ORPP has told you that this NEC meeting does not meet threshold and therefore its resolutions are null and void. One of your resolutions in that NEC meeting is that you're supposed to have an NDC. They have already communicated to you. When you go ahead and act in disobedience of what you've been told, you don't come again and start blaming the ORPP for that. It is a culture that we're having in this country where, for as long as something does not go our way, then it is a problem. Right. For as long as opposition and Azimio, anything that does not go their way, it must be called unconstitutional. It must be that those people are bought. It must be that every other thing is wrong. But anything that goes their way, then that is democracy, and that is the rule of law, and that is justice, and that is constitutionalism. I think that is not the way to go. But because Angel is our sister, we will save her very fast from that shack.
George, has the nature of politics changed, and Azim, you're not changed with it?
Politics hasn't changed. It is just that we have customized ills, political ills, and we want to justify them. Talking about changes in our politics. A thief yesterday is still a thief today. You never change. If you've been stealing, we don't justify that that is a form of income generation. Whether it gives you income or not, you're still a thief. So we have had manipulation of our electoral systems, and that manipulation still continues. And therefore, when you get to power through manipulation, it does not justify your legitimacy. And that does not mean that the politics have changed. Now, back to a few comments that I wanted to make.
Quickly, if you please, because I'm looking at the clock and I'm time bad.
He talked about lobbying, just on lobbying, then I closed with that. I want us to understand that you can lobby in politics. He's basically telling us that the Kenya Kwanza government is still politicking. So in politics you lobby, in leadership you don't. Because virtue basically commands...
How do you separate the two?
Okay.
No, what's that?
I explained my friends need to attend some of my leadership classes so that they understand what leadership is and how different it is from politics.
Let him conclude, please.
No, but let's not mislead the
These are the kind of people who would make you understand that leadership and management is the same. Those are two different things. Leadership is innate, and it is far different from politics. So they are still lobbying from a political understanding. We need to understand that there are certain things and fundamental principles that must be dealt with as a leader. So if you still have to lobby people through financial incentives or appointive incentives to make sure that you drive your agenda, then you have failed as a leader.
But,
as things,
but isn't that the game of politics? Because we are in the political arena.
You can play politics.
Let's not mislead the
All right.
country.
So, but George, I really have to cut you short because I also want to give Angel and Solomon 30 seconds, please, if you will. Angel.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. When a hyena wants to eat its children, it first accuses them of smelling like sheep. And that is what Advice is doing, because he was there when he was being made youth chair last year. When he was being made youth chair last year, Wajakoya and the likes were also there, and we celebrated him at that time. But again, I'd like to say the Political Parties Tribunal issued stay orders on the same. And as we are moving forward, we are yet to see the final outcome of the court process, the legislative process, the judicial process, sorry. But then again, I'd like to say that Jubilee Party is firmly in Azimio, unlike what other naysayers have been purporting. Those are just rumors. And under the able leadership of the Secretary General, Jeremiah Kioni, we said no to the finance bill. We'll continue to say no to punitive legislations that are meant to suffocate Kenyans at the expense of other leaders who are set to benefit from all that punitive measures that we are seeing with this current regime.
All right. Your last word, Solomon?
Let us respect institutions. ORPP is the manager of, is actually the one who looks at the affairs of the political parties. Let us really respect her. Jubilee has written already released a notice on their intention to withdraw from Azimio, and you have to issue a notice, I think, of 90 days or 60 days to withdraw. They have already done that, and I'm sure it will be successful. My final remark is, let us stop betraying our children. I've seen a situation whereby children are staying in school for 3 months only to come and die on the roads. And I've seen that image on the Star. And I've followed and seen we have lost so many school-going children.
All right.
The Ministry of Transport must make sure that they come up with a legislation that killing school-going children in the name of accidents should be punished enough.
All right.
Should not be treated like any other normal accident.
All right.
And thank you for hosting us.
Thank you.